Hello again, it's Kristen. Uh, wow, it's hot lately. I guess the only advantage to having a stay-at-home order of some kind is that we get to stay inside where the air conditioning is. I'm certainly happy about that. This week, the book that we're going to be going over is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is one of those big breakout fantasy novels that kind of took everybody by surprise when it came out and has become wildly popular. Now, this is the first book in a trilogy. Only two of the three are out. This book came out quite a while ago. Mr. Rothfuss is not the fastest of writers, so fair warning, if you go and read the first two of these books and are screaming for the third, please don't blame me, you've been warned. My companion today is currently having a little bath over here, behaving herself for the most part. Anyway, back to Rothfuss. The books are very, very involved, and they are very, very long. I don't remember how long the first book is, but the second book is on the order of 1,000 pages. So yeah, this is not something you want to dive into lightly. But they are very intricately written. There's some beautiful language in it, which is something you're going to hear when I read the prologue to you. The author has done the world building so well that there is a game that is played in this series. It's called Tack, and it's a game that you see the characters playing like in taverns and stuff. Tack has actually been created as a real game that you can purchase online. I was on the initial Kickstarter, so I've had the game for a while. It's fun to play. It's kind of a strategy game, doesn't need many pieces. Anyway, really, really fun to play. So this is one of those series that you're going to dive into. You're going to really get involved with. It does have action in it, but the book itself, as you can probably tell from the fact that the second book is 1,000 pages long, is not going to be one of those novels where everything happens bam, 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 bam. There's a lot of setup. There's a lot of stuff going on during these books. But it's a very immersive read, so I really recommend it, even though it's quite a time commitment. So this is the prologue of The Name of the Wind. It's called A Silence of Three Parts. It was night again. The Waystone Inn lay in silence, and it was a silence of three parts. The most obvious part was a hollow, echoing quiet, made by things that were lacking. If there had been a wind, it would have sighed through the trees, set the inn's sign creaking on its hooks, and brushed the silence down the road like trailing autumn leaves. If there had been a crowd, even a handful of men inside the inn, they would have filled the silence with conversation and laughter, the clatter and clamor one expects from a drinking house during the dark hours of the night. If there had been music, but no, of course there was no music. In fact, there were none of these things, and so the silence remained. Inside the Waystone Inn, a pair of men huddled at one corner of the bar. They drank with quiet determination, avoiding serious discussions of troubling news. In doing this, they added a small, sullen silence to the larger, hollow one. It made an alloy of sorts, a counterpart. The third silence was not an easy thing to notice. If you listened for an hour, you might begin to feel it in the wooden floor underfoot and in the rough, splintering barrels behind the bar. It was in the weight of the black stone hearth that held the heat of a long-dead fire. It was in the slow back and forth of a white linen cloth rubbing along the grain of the bar. And it was in the hands of the man who stood there, polishing a stretch of mahogany that already gleamed in the lamplight. The man had true red hair, red as flame. His eyes were dark and distant, and he moved with the subtle certainty that comes from knowing many things. The Waystone was his, just as the third silence was his. This was appropriate, as it was the greatest silence of the three, wrapping the others inside itself. It was deep and wide as autumn's ending. It was heavy as a great river-smooth stone. It was the patient, cut-flower sound of a man who is waiting to die. And that's your introduction to the main character. And if you want to know more, and I hope you do, and you would like to support your fellow Aggies at the same time, You can purchase the book from us. There's going to be a link down in the comments where you can buy it. Until then, everybody stay cool. We're still having really hot temperatures. Please stay safe, 6 feet apart from people, wash your hands, wear your masks, and we'll see you next time.